Connor?
Greetings, Guardian.
Are you a spirit?
You may think of me as such.
Welcome to the Assassin's Creed The Complete Story. So you've seen Assassin's Creed 4 and you think, Edward Kenway, wow, he's such a beautiful man with his blonde hair. Oh, you don't? That's just me? Well, since we discussed the first civilization last time so you understand where we are in the real world, it's time to get you prepared to be Edward Kenway, Connor Kenway's grandfather and Haytham Kenway's father. Don't worry, we'll eventually get to Desmond and the rest of the previous cast, but today we're going to cover Connor Kenway. All information gathered for this video is from us playing the games, reading the books, and checking on the wiki. Also, I'm going to try my best, but if you've watched any of our videos, we all know I can't pronounce anything properly. Why don't you go ahead and let us know in the comments down below if you liked Connor as a character. Some people hated him compared to Ezio. Alright, let's get started. Connor was born to Haytham Kenway and Zio, for Americans who can't pronounce it properly. You know, that's what she told Haytham so that he would be able to pronounce it because he couldn't either. And he was raised in his mother's village of Canafisitin. It was when he was 4 years old that he first ran into the Templars. Charles Lee was looking for a temple of the first civilization. He believed that it was located near the village. He captured young Connor and questioned if he knew anything, but instead of being afraid, this bolstered Connor's spirit and he demanded to know the name of the leader of their group. Charles Lee was amused by the child and let the child know his name. Young Connor then promised he would find Charles Lee. Amused by the young boy, Charles knocked him unconscious and left him there. This event would lead Connor to mistakenly assume that the Templars burned his village down, because as he woke up, he found his whole village burning down. His conviction to get revenge against the Templars would be made stronger by the fact that this fire would take his mother from him. Connor would grow up in this village, always being told that he couldn't leave the village, and it wasn't until he was 13 that he found out why. The clan mother of the village would give him a crystal ball, which was actually a piece of Eden, and explained that it was their duty to protect this crystal ball. Upon holding the piece of Eden, he found himself transported on a spiritual journey. It was here that Juno of the first civilization would explain to Connor that it was up to him to prevent the Templars from getting into the Grand Temple. If they should get in, she told him that it would bring the world to ruin, and she instructed him to seek a certain symbol to get on the right path. Upon awaking and telling the clan mother what he had seen, she informed Connor that she saw that symbol on a house that lay to the east. With that, Connor headed off to the homestead, and it is there that he met a rather old man. The old man went by the name Achilles, and he was the last of the assassins in this area. Connor pleaded to be trained, but Achilles refused. Things would stay this way until Connor fended off a group of bandits one night, and Achilles came to Connor's rescue as he was losing to these bandits. He then told the boy to clean up and come inside. Maybe it was seeing the desire for revenge in his eyes, or maybe he saw the untrained potential. But regardless, Connor would now be trained by Master Assassin Achilles. His goal as an assassin was to eradicate the Templars in the region, and his personal goal was to seek revenge against Charles Lee for his mother. But it wasn't Charles Lee's fault that she perished, but we'll get to that later. Achilles trained Connor for the next few months, and it was on a trip to Boston that it was suggested that he officially take the name Connor, after Achilles' late son. This trip was the first time that Connor had ever been to Boston, or any city for that matter, and he was in awe over the sights and the sounds of the city life. It was here that Connor would see his father Haytham while he was moving through an argument between the British soldiers and the rioting crowd of Boston. Even though he wished to confront his father, Connor heeded Achilles' words and chose to follow a sniper onto the rooftops to see if he can prevent whatever may be happening. He managed to stop the sniper from firing into the rioting crowd, as Achilles knew that this would make the bad situation even worse. But he was unable to stop Charles Lee, because Charles Lee fired a shot when the sniper was stopped. The rioting crowd thought that it was the British soldiers, and the soldiers thought it was the rioting crowd. This would begin the Boston Massacre, as Haytham would then point out Connor on the rooftops, and several British soldiers would begin to chase him through the city. After a long chase scene, Connor would be confronted by a mystery man who would advise him to seek Samuel Adams. This would be the beginning of Connor's connections with the Revolution, and due to the way he handled this, Achilles would present him with the twin blades of the assassin. Time would pass for Connor, as he would continue to train and make friends. He would go on hunting missions, sailing missions, and do everything from protect the coast to remove British forts from the area. Connor would then assist in protecting the Sons of Liberty during the Boston Tea Party, and his next big event would be aiding Paul Revere in warning that the British were coming. More time would pass, and Connor would eventually get to meet with Charles Lee again, but it was at George Washington's induction as the Commander-in-Chief, so Samuel Adams kept Connor from acting against him. Samuel Adams told Connor this was not the time. What would drive him to his next goals would come from killing off one of Hatham's men. He would learn that General Washington's life was being threatened by Thomas Hickey, and he decided to take it upon himself to keep Washington safe. The steps he would have to take to keep Washington safe, and the extreme measures that he would go to, will all be revealed on our next episode. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll be back in a couple of days with the next part of Assassin's Creed 3. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and subscribe to the channel, as we work on a lot of these videos and we work really hard to bring you lore meets reality and our comedy videos.